70% of executives feel like imposters. And the discovery I will share at the end of this is the one most psychologists never discuss publicly. This phenomenon is not limited to executives, but can be observed in people from all walks of life, from students to artists. The feeling of being an imposter can be overwhelming, causing individuals to doubt their abilities and second-guess their decisions. But what if I told you that this feeling is not just a result of low self-esteem or lack of confidence? What if it's actually a result of a deeper psychological mechanism that's designed to protect us from the outside world? Carl Jung, a renowned psychologist, once said that, "The greatest discovery of any generation is that a human can alter his life by altering his attitude." But how can we alter our attitude when we're stuck in the imposter syndrome trap? To answer this question, we need to delve deeper into the psychology of self-sabotage. The imposter syndrome trap is a complex issue that involves multiple psychological factors, including fear, anxiety, and perfectionism. When we're afraid of being discovered as imposters, we tend to overcompensate by working harder and striving for perfection. However, this can lead to burnout and decreased productivity, ultimately reinforcing the feeling of being an imposter. The next pattern is the one that keeps the most intelligent people trapped. Carl Jung believed that the process of individuation, or becoming a whole and integrated person, is the central concept of his psychological theory. According to Jung, the integration of the psyche is a lifelong process that involves acknowledging and accepting our repressed thoughts, feelings, and impulses. However, this process can be hindered by the imposter syndrome trap, which prevents us from embracing our true selves and acknowledging our strengths and weaknesses. Jung once said, "One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." In other words, we need to confront our fears and insecurities head-on in order to overcome them. But how can we do this when we're stuck in the imposter syndrome trap? One way to start is by recognizing the signs of self-sabotage, such as procrastination, self-doubt, and fear of failure. Once we're aware of these patterns, we can begin to work on changing our attitude and behavior. For example, instead of perfectionism, we can strive for excellence, which allows for mistakes and imperfections. What the research shows next will make you question every decision you have made this week. The imposter syndrome trap is not just an individual issue, but also a collective one. It can be perpetuated by societal expectations and cultural norms that emphasize achievement and success. For instance, the pressure to constantly produce and achieve can lead to burnout and decreased motivation. Moreover, the fear of failure can be so overwhelming that it prevents us from taking risks and pursuing our passions. However, by recognizing the collective nature of the imposter syndrome trap, we can begin to create a more supportive and inclusive environment that encourages individuals to take risks and pursue their dreams. As Jung said, the collective unconscious is a part of the unconscious mind that is shared among members of a species. In other words, we're all connected, and our individual struggles are part of a larger collective struggle. The last insight on this list is the one most people cannot face about themselves. So, how can we break free from the imposter syndrome trap and achieve our full potential? The first step is to acknowledge and accept our fears and insecurities. This involves recognizing the signs of self-sabotage and being honest with ourselves about our motivations and desires. The second step is to reframe our mindset and focus on excellence rather than perfection. This involves embracing our strengths and weaknesses and recognizing that mistakes and imperfections are an inevitable part of the learning process. Finally, we need to create a supportive environment that encourages risk-taking and creativity. This can involve surrounding ourselves with positive and supportive people, pursuing our passions, and taking care of our physical and mental health. By taking these steps, we can overcome the imposter syndrome trap and achieve our full potential. In conclusion, the imposter syndrome trap is a complex issue that involves multiple psychological factors, including fear, anxiety, and perfectionism. However, by recognizing the signs of self-sabotage, reframing our mindset, and creating a supportive environment, we can break free from this trap and achieve our full potential. As Carl Jung said, the greatest discovery of any generation is that a human can alter his life by altering his attitude. So, let's take the first step today and start our journey towards self-discovery and transformation. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more videos on psychology and personal growth. And the discovery I will share with you now is the one most psychologists never discuss publicly: you have the power to change your life by changing your mindset. Join our community and start your journey to a more fulfilling life. If this video helped you understand yourself or someone around you better, subscribe. New psychology insights every single day.